First of all, I want to speak to the mother.
Yeah.
She's a woman before she's a mom. So you want to tell me that at some point you were even making statements like they shared the same husband.
And the fact that she was able to even imagine like forgiving the person, it means that there's hope for healing, which is a good thing for her. Because it's one thing for people to abuse you, it's another thing for you to stay imprisoned by that emotion.
I honestly think it's Stockholm syndrome, because this person has imprisoned her. So now, like, this is, how when someone has punished you so much, that you've suffered so much, that is what you know. Sometimes we take where we are for granted. There are some people that are not privileged enough to have a right to stay in a place that is safe. Hi Chi.
Hi Dima again.
How are you?
I've been good.
That's nice. Guys, welcome to a new episode with Chi and Chi. Exactly. So we have something to talk about. Someone shared something very annoying to Choma, and she wants to hear my opinion.
Oh, okay.
So
you know how we told you guys to be sending us stories that you want us to talk about? So somebody finally sent in a story, and let's read it out and see what your thoughts are.
I don't know what the story is about, but I feel like I'll be angry because she told me it gave her goosebumps.
It annoyed me so bad. So this one said, I'm scared to marry or have kids because of the trauma I've endured. My stepdad started molesting me when I was in secondary school, up until 300 level. And my mom found out because I entered uni. But guess what? She blamed me instead.
I'm angry.
She started having issues with me in the house. Sometimes she would say things like, this is Yoruba, something, which means when we are sharing one husband now. My mother stayed with this man, loving and serving him like her life depended on it. In this same house, I've almost been raped 5 different times by a younger man from this man's family. And in all the 5 times, I was blamed for it. Even my stepbrother has tried to have sex and officially asked me out, telling me that, that we're not blood related, so it's fine. I literally used to think something was wrong with me, that I'm a witch or something. I used to think that I'm the one seducing these men. Other young girls dress casually, wear bomb shorts in their homes, or nobody needs to tell me before I know that I dare not try it in my own house. On days my mother goes for vigil, those are the worst. Fast forward to 2022. My stepfather got really sick. When he was 90 plus, he got cancer, then fell at a point, which led to him having a leg issue. I was 27 at the time. And as first, when the sickness started, my mother would come into the corner to tell me to show care and concern for this man. But as the sickness got much, I literally started looking out for him. I stayed indoors for 2 whole months, catering for this man as my mom would go to work and my sister would go to school. I learned how to forgive someone while catering for this man. I would pray, ask God to show mercy. I need you to imagine praying earnestly to God for mercy and for him to heal this man. He was in real pain. As much as I was hurt and angry at him, it was too much for me. I remember the last Friday he spent on earth. I told my mom and sis I cannot stand it again. I still remember lying there, feeding and cleaning him. I was traumatized. I wish I could continue hating him, but I could only pity him and pray to God to heal him. I remember this particular day, someone asked him what he wanted, and he said, Alafia. I don't know what is Alafia. For the Yoruba folks, please tell us. I started crying with him because he was in pain. I withdrew from him the last Friday he spent on earth. He died in the early hours of Monday. I could no longer bear to look at him. After a month or 2, my mom and I talked about some of these atrocities he committed, and my mom said something I would never forget. A woman must not leave her husband for anything. Her own husband is still better. Shebi, my stepfather's brother slept with his own biological daughter, and his wife didn't leave her husband. So she was making her own case better. It's been almost 2 years since she uttered that statement, and I've never looked at her the same. I still cannot wrap my head around the whole issue, and honestly, I'm ashamed. My mother has failed me several times apart from my stepdad's issue, and it hurts to know I can't turn to my mother for advice, especially when it comes to marriage. It hurts to know every girl child seeks their mother's opinion on matters that relates to their future life, but I know deep down in my heart, if I seek my mother's opinion on matters about my life and marriage, it is going to lead to my doom. I love my mom. She suffered for me and my brother, but I would always live with the fact that my mother chose my stepdad over me even after his death. I currently live with her in his house, and most mornings when I wake up, I look around me and I cry. I'm literally crying already.
This is heavy. This is a lot.
I can't believe that people are going through this kind of
thing. This is a lot. This is heavy.
Yeah, I don't want to be here. I grew up in a very toxic environment, and my only prayer now is not to end up like my mother. My stepfather is dead. My stepbrother is married with kids. The younger man who tried to rape me 5 different times is married with kids too. All the men, at least 10 that I can remember that molested me, have moved on with their lives, but I still feel unsure still to say. I still find it hard to breathe at times, especially in this house. I just remember a particular day, I was still in primary school. There was construction work on a road where we used to live, and my mom would make moi moi and gari with cold pure water to sell to the workers. On this particular day, I was carrying a cooler filled with moi moi to sell to these people. My little hands holding the cooler tightly when this aboki came to grab and squeeze my breast. I was still very young, but I literally started crying there. I knew what was going on. It was not the first, but an aboki. It's been 20 years, and each time I remember that particular one, I still cringe and feel so ashamed and dirty. I sometimes get scared of not just marriage, but bringing a child into this world. I sometimes wonder if I ever find myself in my mom's shoes, what I would do. I remember going through TikTok and saw a podcast to help fix a major broken relationship where a young woman brought her mother. The particular clip I watched was where the daughter was narrating how she was assaulted and came home to tell her mom about it, but the mother said nothing and it hurt the girl. The mother replied saying she didn't know what to say because she had experienced it and probably had not healed, and I felt it. I'm almost 30, but my eyes have seen some things way past my age. I really just want to breathe and be free.
Choma, this is a lot. As she was talking, I was just writing down. At some point I gave up because this is a whole lot to dissect in one episode. I won't even lie to you guys. Jesus Christ. I had goosebumps all over. But the first thing that I want to say is privilege. Sometimes we take where we are for granted. There are some people that are not privileged enough to stay in a place that is safe. I am grateful to God for privilege.
Jesus.
That's the first thing I want to say, because I'm trying to imagine experiencing even quarter of what this young woman went through.
You know that when you experience this in the society is different from when the mother who is supposed to
be your protector
knows about it and she's okay with it.
So let me start one by one. Now, first of all, I want to speak to the mother.
Yeah.
She's a woman before she's a mom. So you want to tell me that at some point you were even making statements like they shared the same husband?
Are you talking
about your daughter who you're supposed to? I get when she said, oh, my mother has really suffered for us.
You're even saying, like, even after the man died, she still did not realize that.
What she did, she was still making excuses, telling her child that she had it better.
That's how deep the whole thing went.
So, which leads me to speaking about inferiority complex at its peak. Because one thing I know that is a huge thing in Nigeria is marriage. In Nigeria, marriage is the be-it all.
It's the highest status.
It is the highest level you can attain. If you like, be Bill Gates. If you like,
married, you are
if you like, be Bev Jesus, I'll be waiting be his name again. As long as you don't have a man under your roof, you are nothing. Which is why a woman would watch the daughter get molested by her husband and then blames her daughter for it. Even makes statements like, they shared the same husband now. What happened to you being her protector? What happened to you? I know that, oh, maybe I don't even have so much excuse. I rather chew granite and have my daughter protected than live under a mansion where my daughter doesn't feel safe because I want to be married to a man.
Did you say mansion? Was there a mansion? There was no mention of a mansion.
No, I'm just giving instances because I'm just trying to imagine what would have made a woman let her daughter get molested by several people.
To be honest with you, I feel like this is no longer about money. This is no longer about, you know, this is now about the status, about the societal status of staying married. Because I feel like there is that criticism in the older generation where maybe like if you don't stay in marriage, it will be as if you can't handle marriage, you know. So people would do anything to protect their marriage, even when it's, and you know how they've used religion to like psych them, you know. The most dangerous thing about the Bible, I'm a Christian, I believe so much in the Bible, but at the same time, the most dangerous thing about the Bible is that for everything you want to do, there's always a passage that supports it, whether it's evil or good.
Yeah.
You know, so people know how to manipulate the word of God to like psych you into saying that this is, you know, first of all, they say that, you know, a woman, your husband is your Lord.
Yeah.
Which means that whatever he says stands, you know, don't even argue with him, you know. And I also want to give a shout out to everybody, like modern women, modern people, not just women, or even men who are feminists, who are fighting this cause, you know. I choose to believe that the society is getting better when it comes to women's right, like people being more expressive, but we are not close to where we need to be, you know. And at the same time, I really want to applaud the lady for even having the courage to even feel empathy for this same man.
Yeah, she might be a good person, but I think it's Stockholm syndrome.
What happened to her is terrible.
It's very terrible.
But imagine seeing your enemy be in that position. There's nothing as satisfying as that, to be honest with you. And the fact that she was able to even imagine like forgiving the person, it means that there's hope for healing, you know, which is a good thing for her. Because it's one thing for people to abuse you, it's another thing for you to stay imprisoned by that emotion, you know. So if you can get up, because now you've been raped and then you're staying down because of that, like that emotion is trapping you, it's keeping you down more. So I like the fact that she's even been able to kind of get to the point where she kind of is feeling pity towards this person. There's nothing as satisfying as seeing your oppressor be in that vulnerable, like.
I actually think it's Stockholm syndrome because this person has imprisoned her. So now, like, this is, you know how when someone has punished you so much, that you've suffered so much, that is what you
no longer even know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, what you're supposed, because it is not normal that she's feeling bad for him when you have dealt with me, you've damaged me.
But I'm so happy that she saw the man in that situation. Because if somebody had, you know, treated me that, God forbid, if somebody had treated me that way and the person is still living a good life, I think it will help me more. I would want to see your downfall. I'm happy that she saw the downfall of the man so that she will know that, okay, this person has gotten his karma. Do you understand? But at the same time, I feel like most of my anger goes towards the mother.
My anger goes towards the
weakness.
My anger goes towards the mom. My anger goes towards the men that think that they can have their way easily with women. Because what would you do? What's the highest you can do? If your mom knows about it and I'm raping you up and down, do your worst.
Okay, now she was even still trying to imagine, maybe like, okay, after she heard the story of another person that was saying that, okay, the mother was equally raped, you know. Sometimes people's rights can be subdued to the point that they don't even know that there's something called right. So being abused is all they've ever known. So if you're not empowered, there's no way you can be a symbol of strength to another person.
Yeah.
So probably the mother could have been molested as well. But now, what even hurt the girl the most is that after the demise of this horrible man, the mother was still making excuses for him and giving the example of after all, the other person's
trying to make light of her situation.
Her own is even better. The other person even raped his own child and the woman still stayed. What?
See, one thing I would beg you to pray for, to constantly pray for, is for God to give you options.
What?
Because this girl, I'm so sure that if she had the option to leave, she would have gone. Pray to God that you're not in a situation where your livelihood depends on
just forces you to just accept rubbish.
Oh Lord. Another thing too I want to speak about is how women are still underrepresented. The situation, why are we still talking about rape and you're being raped in your own home, a place where you're supposed to feel safe?
Place, yeah. But you know the funny thing, the funny
thing is that
it happens more than we think. Yeah, it happens. If you look at it, like most of the times when this grave evil happens, it happens more from the people closest to you. There are so many times that maybe like these days, whenever I'm watching a documentary, or like there are so many documentaries about maybe like whenever somebody disappears mysteriously, it's always the partner, the closest person to them, or if not the partner, their best friends or whatever.
See, I really want
the
to
heart of man is desperately wicked. Honestly,
I really want to beg Nigerian women. Really honestly want to beg you. Please, I'm not saying that marriage, to some people marriage is an achievement, which is great for you. It's a good thing.
It's a beautiful
but I just need you to know that it is not the end. It is not all that. It doesn't have to be the end. Where you're watching your own offspring suffer because you want to remain under the roof of a man.
You're jealous of father. Like I've seen stories where mothers were jealous of their daughters, that they are
taking their
more attention
from their husbands.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the young lady, healing and generational trauma, it is going to take a while.
I don't even understand. Let's even go back to this calculation, because when I saw that 90 plus, did me going in my head.
Means he was really old. Probably he was probably in his 70s or something.
This girl is 27. 90 minus 27 is what?
Hold on, I don't know maths like that. Hold on.
90 minus 27 is 63.
Wait, 90 minus 27, 63. So he was
already 63 when the girl was born.
Grandpa!
Let's say that he was 70.
Grandpa!
Let's say 70 when he said what is a 70-year-old man looking for?
See, the heart of man is evil. I say I will cut off your prick. I swear. It's just that she was probably very young then.
And you know that when you're subdued from such a young age, you lose your power.
You lose your,
That's why I like all these people, all these girls especially, that are termed very stubborn. I like those people because they will do what they want.
They will do what they want to do.
This kind of person, they will cause your man.
I really feel bad for her, because that girl is going to take special healing, a lot of hard work. If not, she's going to be a walking generational trauma, and if she eventually brings in daughters, she's going to pass down her fears to them, and that is how the cycle is going to continue.
But at least I like the fact that she's even already aware. Do you understand? Because
the work is deep.
The work is deep.
The work is extremely deep.
This is the story of millions of other people. Millions, not thousands, millions of other girls. This is their story, and they don't have any
representation. Help. They don't have anybody speaking up for them. Because if your mother could not protect you, who else? If your mother knows it, ignores it, how then is who is she supposed to talk to? This is really sad. Like, and guys,
this is not a situation of she's hungry, because it was hunger. Immediately the man died, she would have, expressed her emotions about how she really feel terrible towards the man. But even in the man's demise, she was still saying her case was better.
But let me even ask people, if a man watching this, or even let's say whoever, how do you enjoy taking advantage of someone when they are not willing to do that? Like, I'm trying to understand it. The person will not even, like, is it the force that, is it maybe when they are struggling, that's what gives you the climax? Or like, what exactly?
I feel like the men that would understand that might not be in our timeline. I feel like the people that listen to us might be more reasonable, but honestly, from a guy's perspective, you guys should help us understand this.
Please, I really want to plead with people watching. If you are ever in a situation where you can help someone who has been victimized, like if someone that has been raped or sexually harassed, I beg you not to keep quiet. Because the more we keep quiet, the more it goes on, and people are not able to speak up. Like, this is the situation of, I'm telling you that if you bring 10 women, I'm so sure, Choma, that 2 or 3 out of those 10 women in Nigeria has been in one way or the other.
Did you say 2 or 3? I heard it's like 90%, more than 90%.
Has been sexually harassed. Like, I'm trying to imagine how this woman is going to heal.
I feel like, you know, the sad part is that there might also be people who have worse stories than her. Normally, I wouldn't prefer to talk about this, but I think we just have to talk about it.
We have to talk about it.
Everybody have to make it personal.
We have to talk about it. You're going to be an uncle.
Saddening. Like, it will change your mood for some time, but I just feel like we have to talk about these things until we've spoken about them enough.
Yeah, because you can say, oh, it's none of my business. We are probably going to be an uncle someday, an auntie someday, a mom someday.
Do you understand?
You're going to have a niece.
Imagination that I'm going to, and I really want to have daughters. So the imagination that I'm going to have daughters who would live in this, and this doesn't just happen in Nigeria, it happens everywhere.
Yes.
You know, so the thoughts alone that I'm going to raise daughters in this kind of environment it really scares me. And let's not also, like, this doesn't just happen to women. Girls.
Yeah, it
doesn't
happens.
Just happen. Guys get raped as well, but because of the nature of their body and the whole symbol of men being like the symbol of strength, an average guy would be raped or abused, and they don't talk about it because who would even listen to you? How can you say that a guy is raped?
Exactly.
So these things are really deeply rooted, and we really need to start talking about it until we start seeing changes.
Oh, I really want to speak with this woman. Like, I want to hold her hands and just
tell her she's going to be okay.
Because they take her a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry that this happened to her, because it could have been anyone. She was just unfortunate to be born in that particular family. There is no difference between the both of us. I was just privileged to have grown up in.
That's one thing that I never say. I never say it can never be me.
Yes.
Because it could be you.
It could be you.
It could be you. You know, so when you have all these privileges, when you're privileged to be from a better family or to have more access to resources, don't feel like you're better than the next person.
Exactly.
You know, just more than anything, just like appreciate your privileges and use them to your benefit, but don't use your privileges to subdue another person just because you think that no human being is inferior to another.
Exactly. You can hear people make statements like, oh, but why didn't she leave? Not everybody have options, and that is just the truth. There are some people that are undereducated because they didn't have that option. They didn't have the privilege to go to school. There are some people that all they know is their home. They don't have relatives they can run to. They have nowhere to go to. I just really wish that help will come from above for her, where she sees a therapist and start working towards
therapist.
And especially in Nigeria.
I don't think they will be talking about therapists. Yeah. I don't think. I just pray that now that her story is out, I just pray that, you know how Nigerians are. Nigerians are lovely people.
When they want to be.
When they want, a lot of them are, to be honest, you know, but you know how the social media is. They're like, most of the time you hear more bad news
than the good.
They say that the empty cans make the highest noise. So the bad people are the ones that talk more. You know, I just hope that now that she's put out her story there, somebody would be able to, her destiny helper would just be able to locate her.
Change her location first.
Just take her out of that environment first. And thank God she went to the university. At least this is somebody who is ready to make a change. But you know, no matter how you try to make a change, sometimes the system frustrates you and keep you like where you've always been.
She has a lot of work to do regarding mindset, because as she said that sometimes she just stays and gets shivers. This is someone that is used to molestation, that at the end of the day, let's say she even gets married and her husband is abusing her, she would think it's normal.
She will not talk about it because this is even better.
This is better
environment than where she's coming from.
Exactly. So she can also experience that in marriage and thinks it's normal, because if her mom could endure such a situation, her mom watched her go through it, her mom made examples and scenarios of people who have experienced this. So why is she different?
I just hope that she would marry a good person, because there are some times
If she doesn't even marry, I don't mind it.
Yeah, if she doesn't marry, like, I hope she becomes successful. But if she eventually gets married, I hope she will marry the right person, because what usually happens in these instances is that there are so many carnivorous human beings. You know, there are some people that when you tell your story, they now feel like, okay,
they take advantage of it.
They take advantage of the story.
You think they are, yeah.
Do you understand?
They will take advantage of anything they want.
After all, and they can always defend it that, okay, I'm not doing up
to what they did to you. Are you not used to this by now?
So I just hope that she would marry a good man, somebody who would help her heal through the process, because this is not a healing she can do by herself. Honestly, I feel like this kind of situation, she needs some level of validation, because all her life nobody has ever validated. The people that are supposed to validate her are the ones that are breaking her. So I feel like she needs somebody who would like help her understand again that it is possible for somebody to truly love you.
Yeah, say she should stay away from men for now.
It's not like men are not evil, to be honest with you. Men are not evils, but I don't like to, like, the fact that this person has done this evil, you know, it doesn't generalize the whole situation. So I just hope that she would meet a good man.
I'm just really grateful to God for the privilege. I'm grateful to God for my options, because this is a story of a lot of people that don't have the privilege and the option. There are some people that they can't even speak up. Like, you can imagine all these girls that get married off at the age of 9.
That one is regular. That one is normal.
At the age of 9 to a man that is 60 something.
And a senator leading a nation, not even just any man, you know.
Exactly. How can this girl, this 9-year-old girl, like, sometimes when I hear things like that, a baby get married to someone in their 60s.
I have nieces and nephews
that is an abuse.
That are like 9. They are still babies. They are still babies to me. So how would you be talking about marriage? These are people that are probably not even seeing their period yet.
Yeah. Like, when I think about things like this, I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my God. A lot is happening. A lot is happening that is not enough to sit down and fold your arms, or enough to say it's none of my business, so I'm not going to, participate or speak about it. At every chance you get, please speak up for the girl child.
Because those people that are perpetrating the acts and the people keeping quiet are equally guilty.
Yeah.
So if you know that somebody is carrying out this evil and you can't even do anything about it, and you're, covering up the story, you're as bad as the person perpetrating the act.
And all these rape apologists. Someone is talking about rape. Oh, but what? Maybe she was wearing bomb shot and the stepfather saw her.
If I hear somebody that would defend this case, the person...
Rape apologists. One day you might have daughters, nieces. I beg you. Rape is not something to be taken lightly. It traumatizes. It's something you would live with for the rest of your life.
It doesn't end with the act.
It doesn't.
It's not a simple act.
It's not something of time heals it all. No.
Yeah.
God, I really send her love, light, help, everything. I just pray that the universe just changes her story for better.
And apparently, that I learned recently that in the Nigerian law, there's nothing like a husband raping a wife.
Yeah.
Because somebody was filing that her husband had raped her, and there's nothing like that in the Nigerian constitution. So apparently, once your husband has paid your bride price is a token anyway. People are now abusing it, like people are now exploiting families and all of that. But because which means this is as good as buying human beings. How can we be fighting slavery meanwhile we are slaves in our own country? We are slaves in our own society. So the fact that you've paid a woman's bride price doesn't mean that you owe the person. It doesn't mean that you owe the person's life. Do you know that back in the Igbo history, I feel like women actually had more rights. I don't know why this whole modern generation are so against feminism, because they see feminism as hatred towards men.
People have misinterpreted it a lot.
Back in the days, women had so much power. Talk about the empowerment. Talk about the women leaders. So back then, women, from what I read, women used to lend their womb to the man's family. So there's even some part of Igbo, I heard somewhere in Abriba that till now, when a woman dies, she will still be taking, her corpse will still be taken back to the father's.
Yes, I know.
House,
even in in River State, Abuloma.
So this whole thing of name change and after marriage, it was never a struggle. I don't know why this modern generation are just making a fuss about it. So women had a lot of rights there, but I feel like women's rights is gradually depreciating, and we really have to fight to maintain a balance. And fighting for women's rights doesn't mean that we are fighting to be equal to men. No, it's all about opportunities. Whoever is qualified, whether I'm a woman or not, my gender should not stop me from dreaming, from wanting to be whoever I want to be. So it's not about, if there are 5 men here, there have to be 5 women. No, it's about opportunity. Whoever is qualified should get the position. So that's what feminism is all about. But people are twisting it and making feminists sound like women who hate men. It's never about hating men.
So please, fight for the woman rights. I beg you. Because this story is such a very sad one. It's really, really sad. I don't wish it on an enemy. And I'm really sending her love and light, hoping that she finds healing, hoping that she has reasons to smile again, love herself again. Because now I'm probably sure she'll just be thinking, what's my use case here on earth? I hope that she finds meaning to life again, finds way to love herself again, believing that she's worth it all. And yeah, please don't be a rape apologist or just zip up. Speak up. Help speak up. It will go a long way. No matter how, if it means resharing, if it means, I saw this, did you see? Don't keep quiet. Yes, I saw this. Things like that. This story is sad. But
yeah. But unfortunately, this is not just her story. This is the story of a lot of women all over the world, So when you empower a girl child, you empower the society, because you know what, these things are deeply rooted. These are women who train the leaders of tomorrow.
Exactly.
Women are very detrimental to the political system of any country. When you empower a girl child, you've empowered a nation, you've empowered a community.
100%.
So let's take these things personally. It's not just a gender fight. Let's stop the gender fight. It's not about men being better than women or women being better than men. No, it's never about that. It's about the suppression of human rights. So please, whenever you're in a position to talk about these things, to fix some of these things, make an honest effort to fix it, because it affects all of us and our society. So we hope you
so wisely. She's smart.
So we hope you've really enjoyed this conversation. It's not something to enjoy.
It's not something to enjoy. Honestly, you learned 1 or 2.
Drop your comments in the comment section.
We read them all.
Maybe like suggestions on how she could get over this trauma. Maybe suggestions on how people can avoid, on how people can speak out, and any other thoughts that you have. And we're going to read all your comments, and we're going to reply to all your comments. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Send us your stories as well if you want us to discuss them. And we'll see you in our next episode. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye, guys.